What is going on today, guys? My name is Forger, and today we're going to be talking about the newest Netflix anime movie called Drifting Home. So firstly, there will be spoilers in this video, but getting right into it, this is my own personal review. There are some objective things about the movie in here, but it is mainly based upon my own personal opinions. The main leading force of the movie is obviously the relationships between various characters that result in the overall thickening of the plot, which can first off generally appear bland right off the bat, as the movie lacks any real initial substance to it, apart from the initial confusing relationship between Kosuke and Natsumi. The plot of the movie, however, does start in a potentially good direction when there's some level of mystery surrounding the apartment building. A group of young friends who used to live in the building thought the building was haunted, so as a result wanted to go explore, and you'd think someone would get hurt or something along those lines and thicken the story in a ghost story type of way, but as the movie progressed. But instead of that, the near-death experience of Natsume made a mysterious storm appear and assumingly carry them out to sea. After being washed away, the first thoughts were obviously confusing for all watching the movie, as there was no true real meaning behind it, and that supernatural feel you sort of got at the beginning was very unsure as a result of lack of plot thickening. Later in the movie, after they take in the fact they are running low on food, they start to loot other passing by buildings, which they sack for food. And after looting one building in particular, a supernatural entity of some sort that never really gets explained attempts to snatch up the kids, but then the entity is stopped by the light side of the presumed sane entity. The lost at sea and adventurous side of the movie, with the kids hopping to other buildings and the simple talking that they do in between scenes, feels very unbalanced, with the kids talking being a lot more prominent overall. As the relationships become more thickening, you can really start to understand the background of the movie overall. This movie clearly opts for telling the story progressively rather than making the world huge and barely being able to cover all the details. And in that regard, they sort of did a pretty good job, but you are left with quite a number of questions at the end of the movie. Moving on to more personal, less objective things, my personal opinion for the movie. Noppo is clearly the grandfather, and his desire to see the smile of his grandchildren once again is clearly what saved Natsume, but at the same time it's also what resulted in everyone on the building being carried over into what can be assumed to be his afterlife, where everyone in that world clearly has some sort of building that is attached to them with a great deal of memory. So Noppo, the grandfather, had an apartment building, whereas the girl with the Ferris wheel was somehow connected to Reina. It's a very weird thing, but you can clearly make out the fact that that's true, because each time they go and loot a new building, you can clearly tell the fact that when they are looting the building, there's always a thump, a very clear thump, and that's always the person whose afterlife it is. Now, the overall conclusion I have on this movie is the fact that Noppo's role isn't really clearly established and leaves a lot up to your own personal interpretation as a result of lack of world building. The production and quality of the movie have zero problems, with the entire thing being incredibly beautiful in terms of animation. However, if this was someone's first anime movie, I'd suggest watching something else before you come into this, because understanding the general confusion of a lot of other animes could help you come here and have a better understanding of what's going on. My personal rating for this movie, however, would be a solid 75 out of 100. That's just me personally, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, it has been Forger, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.